Hari Om, everybody. Welcome back. Let's get started. Om. 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 Ganana Antva Ganapati Havamahe Kavin Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspadana Shrunmannotibisi Dasadanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhirvajini Vati Dhinama Vityavat Om Ganeshaya Namaha Om Saraswatyai Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Shuklam Varadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Vagishadya Sumanasaha Sarvarthanamupakkrame yam natva kritakritya syuh tam namami gajananam vakratunda mahakaya koti surya samaprabha nirvignam kurume deva sarvakaryeshu sarvada saraswati namastubhyam varade kamarupini vidyarambam karishyami Siddhir-bhavatu me sada. Om. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sadashiva-samarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-padyantam Vande Guru-paramparam Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana-sadrisham Tattvamasya-dilaksham Ekam nityam vimalamachalam सर्वधी साक्षी भूतम भावातीतम त्रिगुणरहितम सद्गुरुं तम नमामि सद्गुरुं तम नमामि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्य केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्त देहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं यस्य सन्निधि मात्रेण सर्वे शिष्याश्च सेवकाः कर्मक्षेत्रे प्रवर्तन्ते चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम् Chinmayam tam namamyaham. Let us do the Pratasmaranam. Pratasmarami hridisam spuradatmatattvam Satchit sukham paramaham sagatim turiyam यत्स्वप्न जागर सुषुप्तमवैति नित्यम् तद्ब्रह्म निष्कळमहम् न च भूतसङ्घः प्रातर्भजामि मनसा वचसामगम्यम् वाचो विभान्ति निखिला यदनुग्रहेण यन्नेति नेति वचनैः निगमा अवोचुः तं देवदेवमजमच्युत माहुरग्र्यम् प्रातर्नमामि तमसः परमर्कवर्णम् पूर्णं सनातनपदं पुरुषोत्तमाख्यम् यस्मिन्निदं जगदशेषमशेषमूर्तौ रज्ज्वां भुजङ्गमयिव प्रतिभासितं वै रज्ज्वां भुजङ्गमयिव प्रतिभासितं वै. Hari Om everybody. Welcome back to our weekly Vedanta classes on Upadesha Saara by Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. We have covered up to 15 shlokas, halfway through it. Let us chant them first, and then we will see the meaning on the other side. Karturagnaya prapyate palam karma kim param karma tajjadam krutimaho dadhau patana karanam palamashashvatam gati nirodhakam ईश्वरार्पितं नेच्छया कृतं चित्तशोधकं मुक्तिसाधकं कायवाङ्मन कार्यमुत्तमं पूजनं जपश्चिन्तनं क्रमात् जगत ईषधी युक्तसेवनम् अष्टमूर्तिभृत् देवपूजनम् उत्तमस्तवादुच्चमन्दतः चित्तजं जप ध्यानमुत्तमम् आज्यधारया स्रोतसा समम् सरलचिन्तनं विरलतः परम् भेदभावना सोऽहमित्यसौ भावना विधा पावनी मता भावशून्य सत् भावसुस्थितिः भावना बलात् भक्तिरुत्तम हृत्स्थले मन स्वस्थता क्रिया भक्ति योग बोधाश्च निश्चितम् वायुरोधना लीयते मनः जालपक्षिवत् रोदसाधनम् चित्तवायव चित्क्रियायुताः शाखयोर्द्वयी शक्तिमूलक लय विनाशने उभयरोधने लयगतं पुनर्भवति नो मृतम् प्राणबन्धना लीनमानसम् एकचिन्तना नाशमेत्यदः नष्टमानसो उत्कृष्टयोगिनः कृत्यमस्ति किं स्वस्तितं यतः कृत्यमस्ति किं स्वस्तितं यतः. Now let us move on to number 16 today, and I will also summarize along the way. Drushyavaritam chittamatmanah chitvadarshanam tattvadarshanam. One more time. Drushyavaritam chittamatmanah chitvadarshanam tattvadarshanam. Drushyavaritam chittam atmanah chitvadarshanam tattvadarshanam. Now, this verse summarizes the topic of Ashtanga Yoga and explains the main methodology for contemplation. Drushyavaritam chittamatmanah. Drushyavaritam chittam. That mind which is withdrawn from drushya, that which is seen through the sense organs, we see the world of objects. Now, we should also show this is our BMI chart. I have explained all of this during our basic Vedanta classes. Our Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmaya ji, used to use this to explain all of Vedanta. It is called the BMI chart. Not the body mass index, it is body, mind, intellect. You have on top of it, that's our goal, Om as the supreme consciousness, the unconditioned experienced plane of consciousness. Then we have the vasanas, that is our conditioned experience based on our gunas, our texture of thoughts, and so on. Then you have the body, mind, and the intellect, which is the subjective field of experience. Then through the body, you reach out for the objects, you become the perceiver, the action of experience, and the object of experience, the OET layer. Through the mind, you go out, and through express emotions, you become the feeler. Through the intellect, you become the thinker of the thoughts. That's kind of the snapshot. When we say we withdraw the mind in this shloka from the objects, we say you withdraw the attention from the objects. Attention of your mind from the objects. In Vedanta, we call this Jagati Satyatva Buddhi. Meaning, It is not giving reality to that world of experience. Sometimes, we are reading a book, and you will notice that our mind has gone somewhere else. Our Puja Guruji, Swami Tejomayananji, used to say this joke. There was this lady in a lecture. These people sit right in the front row. She was in the front row. She opened her purse, an elderly lady, and then searched for her hearing aid. Then she put it on. The speaker was very, very happy that she was paying attention now. He thought she is now listening to her. Then after a couple of minutes, she put it back, removed it, put it back in her purse, happily reclined in her seat, and sat back. He used to joke, she looked very peaceful, he would say. I'm guessing she must have gone to her deep sleep state. A lot of people do that in Vedanta classes. And you know how the speaker must have felt. It's especially difficult to watch when you're doing these online classes. People turn off the video and you scroll down as to who is paying attention. Only one or two are paying attention. And you have no idea what is going on behind the scenes. What I'm saying is, the speaker is very disappointed when the audience is withdrawn from the lecture. So, Chitva Darshanam, Tattva Darshanam. A thought arises in the mind. We say, this is a book. Or we say, this is a pen. We call them vritti. Mind is vritti karaka. So the mind, in association with the thought, goes outside, takes the form of the object, and so on, and then, comprehends it. That's why it operates only in the realm of the known. So what is being said in the shloka here is that we do not pay attention to that thought. Instead, we focus on the seer of that thought, drashta. Who is seeing that thought? That brings us to consciousness. It's easier said than done. Takes a lot of abhyasa, lot of preparation. The mind which is withdrawn from the object, that mind is available for Tattva Darshanam. From Chittam to Chit. When we become conscious of the thought, Chittam to Chit, kind of following the witness, we call that as Sakshi Bhava, or the witness principle. That vision is the vision of reality. If we see this mathematically, consciousness of objects or consciousness plus objects is equal to thoughts. Thought of that object, etc. Same way, if you deduce the equation, thought minus objects equals consciousness. When we see it that way, it seems very easy, right? This is Drishyavaritam. So with this shloka, what we have done, we have completed the karma marga, bhakti marga, ashtanga yoga. Now we enter gnana marga, often called as the direct path, the path of inquiry, vichara marga, the path of knowledge. Now let's chant the next shloka, a very important shloka. Manasam tu kim margane krute. Manasam tu kim margane krute. Naiva manasam marga arjavat. Naiva manasam marga arjavat. One more time. Manasam tu kim margane krute. Naiva manasam marga arjavat. Now the inquiry begins. What is this mind? There is nothing real called the mind. This is the direct path. Manasam nama kim iti margane krute. Manasam naiva vartate. Esha eva arjavat margaha. See, in the earlier 16 verses so far, what have we done? What have we covered? We saw a glimpse of path of action, karma yoga, in the first 3 shlokas. We saw Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi gave us that secret 3-point plan. Arpita buddhi, while doing kartavya karmas, dedicating all our actions to the Lord. Dasya buddhi, performance of action as the worship of the Lord. And all karma pala, the results of the action as acceptance of his prasada buddhi. This way we learned when we do these type of actions, or actions this way, chitta shuddhi happens, purification of mind. Then we saw he started us on the bhakti marg. Pujanam japa chintanam kramat. Pujanam at the body level, on the form of the Lord. Jagata ishadhi yukta sevanam ashtamurti bhrit deva pujanam. Ishadi yuktam jana seva janardana seva. We went through then japa sadhana, function of the name of the Lord, namasmaranam. We saw in that 4 levels of japa: stuti or prarthana, then uccha japa, parashruti gochara. The person next to you can hear what you're chanting. Manda japa, swashruti gochara, only you can hear. And finally, chittajam japa, manasika japa. And each one we saw was subtler than the other. And in that he said, Chittajam japa, manasa japa leads slowly to meditation. Dhyanamuttamam. Then Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi gave us 2 types of contemplation: interrupted, uninterrupted. Ajyadharaya srotasasamam sarala chintanam viralatah param. He said, uninterrupted contemplation is param. He gave us 2 examples in that verse. Ajyadharaya srotasasamam, like a stream of melted ghee, how there is continuity, how there is unbrokenness, uninterrupted flow. And for effortless, he said, srotasasamam, like the flow of water in the river, how it overcomes all the obstacles and obstructions. Then we saw that dhyana has 3 factors. Dhyayi, the meditator. Dhyeya, the meditated or the object of meditation. And dhyana, the process of meditation. And in that process of dhyana, Ramana Maharshi pointed out that nirguna nirakara dhyana, the meditation on the attributeless, formless Brahman, is superior to that of meditation on the form of the Lord, or the qualities or the attributes of the Lord. Saguna sakara dhyana. Then around verse 9, he said, abide in our own true nature, hritstale manaha, swastata kriya. The abidance of the mind in the spiritual heart. Then we saw Patanjali Maharshi's Yoga Sutra, Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, leading to Samadhi. Then Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi explained the usage of pranayama as the technique to control the mind. Rodhanat liyate manaha. Restraining the pranavayu. How? Jalapakshivat, like a bird caught in a net. And we saw in that prana vikshana, a technique called observation of breath, breathing in, puraka, then hold it, kumbhaka, and then exhalation, breathing out, rechaka. We observe this breath by remaining a witness to the incoming and outgoing breath. in the last class, we saw that restraining of the mind achieved through restraining of the pranas is a temporary exercise. We saw that there are two states of mind, laya, vinasha. Temporarily suspended mind, quietened mind. Vinasha is the destruction of the mind. We saw that. Laya vinashane, ubhaya rodane. We restrain the mind through the pranas. We reach a state of laya, temporarily quietening the mind. Then we know in the shloka he explained layagatam manaha punaha bhavati. It comes back from laya. We saw that the two aspects of the mind, right? The objective mind and the subjective mind. Objective mind, where our sense organs perceive the objects, experiences the object, remembers, understands, excuse me, by restraining of this mind, the thinking part of the mind is not destroyed. We went through that. Then the second aspect of the mind, the subjective mind, which broods over the perceived objects, which creates feelings, emotions of likes and dislikes, minus, mine, and so on, that binds us. That problematic aspect of the mind, that ignorant mind, that creates all sorts of emotions and commotions in our lives, that is destroyed. How? By prana vikshana, we get lina manasa. The mind is relatively quiet when we stop all the activities. With that quiet mind, what do we do? Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi said, Eka Chintanam. We contemplate on that one reality. Nasham eti adaha. That ignorance is destroyed with that thinking. I gave you the example from Drushya Viveka in the last class. Drushya is aneka. Drashta is eka. Sakshi druk eva natu drushyate. That Sakshi principle that provides the sentiency for the thoughts, that is the prime mover for the thoughts, that is the seer of the thoughts, is never seen. That is one without the second. Ekameva advitiyam. So when we turn our mind to that drashta, the problematic mind goes away. I hope you understood that whole chain of thoughts, the sequence, how these shlokas were formulated. So in that earlier 16 verses, when we saw a glimpse of Karma Yoga, Karma Marga, Bhakti Marga, Ashtanga Yoga, now we are coming into the Gnana Marga, the path of knowledge, Vichara Marga, the path of inquiry. This path appeals to most of this scientific community. See, somehow there is an incorrect assumption with a lot of people that yoga, yoga abhyasa, is all practical, and this Vedanta is all theory. If any of you have that kind of a notion, please remove that from your mind. So the reason I kind of gave you that overview is, until now, there is a distinct feature in that methods that were given was to purify the mind, to focus the mind, etc. And the assumptions in all other paths were what? The primary assumption was that we have a mind. In all other paths, we say the mind is restless, chanchala. But in the path of knowledge, we start to inquire on the nature of the mind. Manasam tu kim margane krute naiva manasam marga arjavat. Manasam tu kim. The two is used when you have to point out to something distinct. Like when we say that is true, but, or in English we use the expression like on the other hand. So this path of inquiry is anveshanam. When we inquire that manasam tu kim, what is that mind? What is the nature of this mind? We will know that naiva manasam. There is no such thing as mind. So in this Gnana Marga, it's a direct path. Arjavam. In 13th chapter Bhagavad Gita also these values come. Arjuna in Mahabharata was known for this quality. Some of you are Balavihar teachers, so I'm re-emphasizing that. Like when we say in English, he's a straight shooter, that expression must have come from Mahabharata. It's like a straight path, like a non-stop flight. So when we start to inquire, is this mind absolutely real? So in Vedanta we say, abadityatvam satyatvam. That which cannot be negated is what we call in Vedanta as real. Those who have studied Tattva Bodha with me by Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya, Trikale Tishtati iti Sat. That is Satya. Sat chet na bhadyeta. That which cannot be contradicted. When we apply this definition in our inquiry, in our vichara, we find that mind is constantly changing. We all know that. It is happy one moment. It is sad the next moment, kind of like the stock market, right? Until October, we didn't even want to look at our 401k statements. Then November, December, you call it Santa Claus rally, whatever that is in the marketplace, people are happy. You're elated the next day. Sometimes it is there in one state, especially when we are awake, in our waking state. It is not there when we are in deep sleep state. That means it is not there in all three periods of time. For example, I see this hibiscus flower, right? How do I determine this is real? I see it with my eyes. But the artificial ones seem so real. Then I have to use the other pramana. So I touch it. Even then, the artificial ones also seem very close to real. Then what do? I smell it. Then I know it is a real flower. Right? So we use our sense perceptions to determine the apparent reality. In the same way, when we apply that principle of pramana to the mind, I see that this mind is not there sometime. So I rule it as not sat or asat. But I investigate. I cannot rule it out as asat, non-existent, because I experience the vagaries of my mind. Pay attention, please. This is a little subtler topic. Like the rabbit haunts, which is non-existent. I cannot rule it out as asat, non-existent. So who is thinking whether there is a mind or whether there is no mind? So I cannot say it is sat, existent, or asat, non-existent. This phenomena in Vedanta is called sat asat bhyam anirvachaniyam. It is an inexplicable phenomena. It is neither real nor unreal. In Vedanta, we call it as mithya. It is an illusory phenomena. It is also called as apparently real, seemingly real. It is an illusion. It is Brahma. But we should not stop our inquiry here. In order for the illusion to come, there has to be a substratum. For example, when we use the rope and the snake example in Vedanta, which is very popular, in order for the snake to appear, it cannot appear on its own. there is a rope that has to be there as a substratum. So when I bring the torchlight, which is gnanam, the light of knowledge, then you know the illusory snake is gone. In fact, it never existed. And the innocent rope or the garden hose that which we were so fearful that we had stepped on a snake, it caused so much fear, never existed. And in Vedanta, we also use several other examples to drive the point how there is a mirage in the water created by the desert sand, especially it's so visible in desert-like condition here in Arizona, or a silver superimposition on a seashell that appears like silver because of that light. The post and the ghost example that our Puja Gurudev used to use, all these illusions. Some of these illusions in the example causes fear and makes us run away. Some illusions will attract you towards it, like the seashell example. So the bottom line in our analysis is when we discover if it is mithya, we need to inquire then what is satya? And when we discover what is satya, it is naiva manasam. There is no mind. See, in summary, before the inquiry for the ignorant mind, the mind appears to be real. When the mind is ignorant, it appears to be real. For the investigating mind, seems to be there. But for an enlightened mind with knowledge, it is definitely not there. That is naiva manasam. Manasam tu kim margane krite. Naiva manasam marga arjavat. Now, how to conduct this sort of inquiry? We will inquire this in 2024 when we come back from the break, so we can spend some time with our families. We will stop here today. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. May all be happy. May all be healthy. May all see auspiciousness. May none suffer. Om, peace, peace, peace. I also want to talk to you a little bit about upcoming Gita Jayanti.